President Trump says that his comments at last week's rally before protesters marched to the Capitol were totally appropriate.
And as Democrats push for Vice President Mike Pence to invoke the 25th Amendment, the president says he is not concerned.
The 25th Amendment is of zero risk to me, but will come back to haunt Joe Biden and the Biden administration.
Sets the stage for a full House impeachment vote, which could come as soon as tomorrow. Some House Republicans are calling for the less severe step of censuring President Trump, which would not result in his removal from office.
Meanwhile, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is calling for known rioters to be placed on the no-fly list.
Well, the FBI has warned that police agencies in all 50 states warned them that armed groups could be planning to storm federal, state, and local courthouses if the president is removed from office.
Now, the governor says he is taking security very seriously at the State House, while also doubling Maryland's National Guard presence in D.C. WJZ investigator Mike Helgren is live at the National Guard Armory in Baltimore with much more on the precautions. Hey, Mike.
Hi, Nicole. Denise, the governor says the National Guard still has plenty of resources. He stresses that there have been no concrete threats here in Maryland. He also says that he plans to attend the inauguration in D.C., that he's not afraid to do so, but he's urging the public to stay home.
I would strongly advise anyone not to come to the State House armed, and I think they would regret that if they did.
Governor Hogan with that strong warning. The FBI has placed all 50 state capitals on alert after last week's riots in D.C. Even with tensions running high, the governor says there are no direct credible threats to Maryland State House.
There are all kinds of groups that are posting things about we're going to have armed assaults on all 50 state capitals, and they're trying to create confusion. I'm sure some people may show up to protest.
Federal and state authorities are looking at online chatter.
They're going through and following up in some of these chat rooms and some of these places where extremists tend to coalesce in the dark corners of the web.
Annapolis mayor and police chief tell WJZ they're also prepared to keep the capital city safe.
We will make sure that we have the best intelligence information at all levels of government, and then we are prepared to adjust our deployment plan accordingly.
The state is increasing the number of officers around the State House and limiting access to state buildings. Maryland is also doubling the number of National Guard members being sent to D.C. to 1,000. Another 1,000 are still prepared to assist in Annapolis if needed.
Trust me, we're not going to leave ourselves unprotected. We will have the access to the Guard.
What we saw happen in the Capitol is not who we are. And so it was a shameful day, but the world is expecting us to get it right and to fix it, and we will, because that's who we are.
In Baltimore, the mayor says the city is taking note of any potential threats.
They're continuously monitoring to see what's happening, to see any particular threats here. We'll always be monitoring those things.
Now, yesterday we told you about an Anne Arundel County officer who was suspended for possible involvement in the riot. And today we've learned that the Charles County Sheriff has suspended a correctional officer for the same thing. Both of those people remain under investigation at this hour. Reporting live at the National Guard Armory in Baltimore, Mike Helgren, WJZ.
All right, thank you, Mike. Well, we are now hearing from the former Capitol Police Chief for the first time since resigning from his position following the attack. Stephen Sund says that he asked the Senate and House Sergeant of Arms to bring in the National Guard and was continuously denied. He says by the time extra help arrived, the riots had already become deadly.
These officers were fighting. They were fighting for hours to protect that Capitol. I saw officers get hit with fire extinguishers, fire extinguishers being thrown at them, poles. These people came with baseball bats, metal poles that they were throwing, over and over at the officers. We prepare for it all the time. We prepare for, various events. Again, this was something I've never seen.
Sund says he takes responsibility as chief of the department. He says he feels for the Capitol police officers who are now dealing with threats, while at the same time mourning the loss of two brothers in arms killed in those riots.
Well, the TSA says it remains on high alert ahead of Inauguration Day. It is increasing law enforcement and canine presence at all three D.C. area airports, of course, BWI, Reagan, and Dulles. Security has already been heightened since last week's attack on the Capitol. And you will want to stay with WJZ as we learn much more about the crisis at the Capitol. We'll be bringing you updates on air, online, and anytime on the WJZ mobile app.